up is Andrea Griffin. Thank you. State your name, and everyone, you have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Andrea Griffin. Manatee County is my home, and therefore I protect my home. Last week, 5 of you chose to violate our rights by unconstitutionally broadening police power. Attorney Palmer improperly advised laws and amendments, therefore committing malpractice on this county. Attorney Palmer, 5 commissioners, and the sheriff opened our county up to lawsuits. You should all be fired and removed, but we cannot do that until election time, and believe me, we will remember. My government has no right to make decisions for me and my family. Shame on you, Betsy, for stating that you don't care about violating our rights. Well, guess what? I care, and many people in this county care. Our Constitution doesn't say if you have a medical emergency you can violate our constitutional, civil, or property rights. Our constitutional rights are our God-given American rights to be an American citizen. It provides protection to the people against government overreach, which you have clearly done, and shame on you. Let's talk about facts. We were told first responders are exhausted and they need to take time to take this much-needed break. Let's explore this a little more. So I had an opportunity to drive by the sheriff's offices, the EMT stations, the fire stations, and the hospitals. None are overwhelmed. In fact, doctors and nurses are being furloughed. Let's talk about the sheriff's office. On April 7th, we have officers rounding up cattle on US 41 in Palmetto. Yesterday, I observed 2 officers sitting in their vehicle on 5th Street East, 2 officers chatting, laughing, and seemingly no problem in the world. Then I turn the corner, and there's yet another officer in the Wells Fargo parking lot. So we have 3 officers sitting on their duffs while they're screaming they're overwhelmed. I am sick of the lies. So again, how does this curfew give our first responders their much-needed break? I have photos of all the traffic on the roads and in the stores. Please explain to me how nightly curfews will slow the spread when everyone is moving around during the day. According to the CDC, we had over 2.8 million Americans die last year of heart attacks, strokes, and 61,000 from the flu. You probably want to tell me that you can't catch a heart attack. According to WHO, 17 million people die a year from infectious diseases which have no treatments, cures, or vaccines. We were told millions of people would die from this virus, and now it's tens of thousands because their models and assumptions were wrong. I will not ask permission to go out of my house. I will not have papers to drive my car. I am an American citizen. We are not a third world country ran by dictators, though it's getting hard to tell with our county commissioners. I will not stay silent, locked away in my home. This is America. Each of you should be ashamed of yourself. Thank you, Steve and Vanessa, for doing the ethical thing. Thank you. When this resolution was proposed, we were told it was done for 4 reasons. To give first responders a break, to allow the sheriff to go onto private property, to slow the spread, and to scare us. We now know first responders are not overwhelmed. The sheriff's unable to go on private property because it's unconstitutional. And any reasonable person knows this curfew does nothing to slow the spread. You're only doing this because you can and not because the curfew is relevant or effective. An order is unenforceable if it is designed to scare and intimidate people. We have heard on 4.3 and 4.10 that is the purpose of this order, to scare and intimidate people. Carol, you constantly state all the mayors keep calling you to keep this curfew going. I must be very, very confused because I thought the people in your district elected you, not the mayors. Betsy, you don't care about violating our rights and want to scare us into submission. Misty, the disdain you have for our Constitution is appalling. Minorities and women were oppressed by our government, not the Constitution. And Reggie, you have the most people in this county that are adversely affected by this horrible order. When will any of you listen to the people in your district? Over 61,000 people died last year from the seasonal flu, which has a vaccine. Last night during the president's briefing, it showed Florida being in low risk for weeks. While all you fear-mongered and violated our rights. You chose fear over common sense, and you owe us all a big apology. After the president's briefing was over, one of the news segments had the IHME director on it, and he said the models for 413 were wrong yet again. He expects it to be much lower. He said the seasonal flu was more deadly. His words. How dare you put this county through all this? Week after week, we come here and voice our concerns, and you, from your thrones, wield your power with no regard for the people you serve. You chose scare tactics and fear-mongering to control us. How dare you? I'm going to make this very short. Open this county up. Manatee County residents have had enough. We refuse to live in fear one more day. Quit hijacking our county and return it back to the people. For the people listening, if you have had enough with government overreach, you must stand up and speak up. It is now time for civil disobedience. Clearly, we aren't speaking loud enough for our county commissioners to hear us. It's time to start calling your mayors, your commissioners, and all your state representatives to let them know we are not okay with this. Until we are very loud, this will not stop. This is a slippery slope. We can no longer trust our elected officials to tell us the truth, so you need to start doing your own research. Please reach out to me if you need resources or phone numbers.
Probably going to be lower.
That was the IHME director saying that this is going to be lower than the flu. Let's stand united in this injustice on our county. Thank you.
You went up there twice?
My name's Andrew Griffin. We have 403,553 people in this county as of the census of 2019. Okay? So all those fancy numbers Jason Sowers is giving us is based on less than 2% of our entire population. So we're saying that 99.8% of people have to adhere to guidelines because of 2%. Less than a percent. Less than a percent of the people that are affected. Okay, Misty, for you that doesn't understand how to read a warning label, it clearly states on the back of these paper masks that this does not prevent COVID-19. Clearly states. Okay? And then, here's our states. Our state statistics pulled off just today from the CDC, the Department of Health. Do you see that? All of our numbers are going down. Don't you think it's a little late now to now be requiring masks?
Please don't yell. Please don't yell. You can speak, not yell. Please.
You think this is okay? To put this county through this, 99.9% of the people that are not even going to be infected, test positive for the antibodies. You guys think this is okay to put us through this? I'm not sick, nor have I been sick. Please explain to me what a DNR is, Carol. There are limitations to what medical people are allowed to do. And I'm sick of being held hostage by our medical professionals. You can drape everybody up in here, your doctors, your nurses. It doesn't give you a right to tell me what I can do. Do you have my medical history? Do you? Do you know whether I suffer from asthma, PTSD, or anything else? Do you?
Address the board, and if you speak out when it's not your turn, you'll be asked to leave. It is in our rules. We will follow our rules. You will follow them while you're in this building because we have rules.
Yeah, but you guys are being ridiculous. That's all I'm saying. You guys are being absolutely ridiculous. You're putting 99% of this population, Manatee County population, through all this garbage for 2%. 2%. We're losing our businesses. We're losing our homes. Why don't you do meaningful stuff, like providing sanitation stations to the homeless? How about turning on the water and the electricity to the people that are living in homes without them? What about that?
Okay.
Doing that.
You know?
No discussion from the board either.
These are reasonable steps. Throwing masks at everybody, what are you going to do when the masks don't work? Put us in hazmat suits? I'm done.
Thank you. Followed by Debbie Clark.
Andrew Griffin. I had a whole different kind of speech, but after we brought doctors in here, I want to clarify quite a few things. We had several people say that there is no monetary value in these COVID deaths because of Medicare billing and whatever. Let's talk about that. Because for pneumonia, you guys get from Medicare $5,000. If pneumonia is classified as COVID pneumonia, you get $13,000. If those people go on ventilators, you get $39,000. And then if they die from that ventilator, you get another $132,000. Every single lab that's testing people is getting $100 for those. So let's not say that there's no incentive for this virus. There is absolutely a lot of incentive. And in this county right now, so far, $42 million has been flooded into this county from our federal government for these deaths. So yeah, maybe some doctors like that lady that was just here might be being responsible and classifying those that aren't with COVID versus from COVID, but there's a lot of incentive to have those death certificates say COVID. So with that being said, I want to get to the executive order or the resolution order. The resolution is saying that they don't want you using this kind of mask. They want you to use this kind of mask. So let's talk about studies that nobody wants to bring up. Because according to CDC, from 1946 to July 24th, 2018, they studied millions of these masks. Millions. And this didn't stop the influenza, but it's supposed to stop COVID. Okay? Let's go to another study that was done with 1,600 hospital employees. The rate of infection of outcome was the highest in cloth masks. The laboratory says that the risk of infection, self-contamination, went up 95% from this. And we were told to wear masks for, I think, 2 days, you said, would be okay. Our masks are infected within 30 minutes or 30 seconds of us going into a store, touching something, and then having to move that mask to adjust it on our nose. So with this mask, not only are we now, I don't touch my face. You put a mask on me, my hands are on my face all day long. You're saying this stuff is going through our nose and mouth. What happens if I have an itch? I got to get up under there and itch. My hands are contaminated. I'm contaminating myself. And nobody wants to speak of this self-contamination. This study concludes that cloth masks and the results cautioned against the use of cloth masks. This is an important finding to inform occupational health and safety because of moisture retention, reuse of cloth masks, and poor filtration may result in increased risk of infection.
Thank you.